always sunny down in Mexico. The sun gets high when I get low. The only way to get there is to let yourself go. Good times are made in Mexico.
I really appreciate your time coming on and joining us and just kind of chatting about your wedding and the overall experience and all. But take us through it from your perspective, because it's really helpful to other brides and couples that are considering destination wedding or in the midst of it and need the advice from other people who've gone through it. So thanks so much for your time. I would just love to start at the beginning. Was a destination wedding always in the mix? Was it always the plan?
Well, because we're both from different sides of the coast. He's from California and I'm from the East Coast. We figured people would have to be flying at some destination either way. We went to Secrets Moshe about a few years ago for my dad's 60th birthday, and we saw a destination wedding happening there, and we were like, oh, that could actually be like a cool idea. We weren't even engaged at that point either too. But we saw it was beautiful, and then we got engaged, and we had decided, because we wanted everyone to be together more than 6 hours of like a typical wedding, and actually spend like more one-on-one quality time with our guests, just because they would be traveling kind of regardless if we did some East Coast, like all the California, and then vice versa. And we were like, why don't we just meet in the middle almost and kind of meet in paradise? And so then I started the process of just like going deep diving into all of the different destinations. I was looking in the Bahamas at one point, definitely not just in Mexico. And then we decided, because we liked the Secrets branch, to look more into the Secrets things. And yeah, we came across Secrets Playa Blanca. We really liked that it was like a newer resort.
That resort in particular has been one of the most impressive to me. I've stayed there a number of times, and I really think what stuck out for me was the service level at that resort. My wife has celiac disease, so traveling is always a little stressful because of the allergy situation, and some people, even in the States, some places don't understand cross-contamination issues and all this kind of stuff. So they were on it there more than any other resort I've ever been to. From a service standpoint, like everything was just top-notch in my experience.
We had a lot of creative allergies from friends. Two of my groomsmen, my best man, he's allergic to peanuts, tree nuts, and a few other things, so they were on top of that one. But then my other groomsman is allergic to chicken, fish, seafood, and every single time they made an effort to make sure they had their food, they were taken care of throughout the whole weekend they were there. So overall, I mean, that stood out to us because she also had a few bridesmaids as well that had allergies, and then a few gluten-sensitive people. And as we were going through the wedding planning process, with our coordinator, Jennifer, she made sure, like, hey, who is severely allergic? Who is it, hey, it's like a food thing they don't really like? What are the ones we need to make sure, special prep, separate kitchen, things like that?
Even at the buffet, the chef that like ran the buffet that was in charge, he would see us come in, he'd come over to my wife immediately and like, okay, you can have this, you can and what do you want? I'm gonna make it separately in the back for you. It just gave her so much peace of mind, which was fantastic. Not just in the food area, they were good all over the place. That was especially important to us for sure. So I'm glad to hear that you guys had the same experience. How'd you find us? How'd you find me?
Our family friends that we go to Dewey Beach with all the time, they got married in Ziva Hotel in Cancun, leveraged you for that. And once they heard we were going to have a destination wedding and we were thinking Mexico, they immediately referred us your way, and then we got in contact.
What stood out to me, I remember I reached out to you, I think it was like 10:30 p.m. and you responded to me within like 2 minutes, and I was like, okay, I'm sold.
That's the difference between like, a corporate entity and like, actual small business. We pride ourselves on response time. Where in the process did you decide, hey, I need to contact an agent? What made you think that to reach out?
At the beginning of the process, I was definitely a little lost with trying to figure out a destination wedding, because I obviously have not done that before. And so I remember when I was reaching out to the resorts, they kept saying in order to get a special room block rate, you needed to use a travel agent. And so that's when I was like asking my mom about it, and then she said that Be All Inclusive was a company that was reputable and everything, so that's when I reached out to you.
Did you get any pushback from friends and family at all with regards to doing a destination wedding?
Everyone we told seemed really excited.
Obviously, with a destination wedding, some people aren't able to attend. They have different things going on. As far as pushback of like, oh, I can't believe you're doing this. No, everyone came around and supported us. I mean, we had 97 people, including us, there. and it showed. As far as the amount of people we invited, I mean, there's probably 140, 150. Once you're locked in with that resort, working alongside you, I mean, we had so many people say, I can't believe you got this price. Like, I can't believe we get to go and do 4 days in paradise and have such a cheaper rate than what's normally there. And some of our people took the time to stay for a couple more days, stay a full week. Some people added a day when they were already there and experiencing it. But overall, if you do want to move forward with a destination wedding, you need to do it, because it's a lot more fun to have people with you for multiple days instead of just that single day or maybe the night before and that day.
Was there anything specifically about Playa Blanca that stuck out that made you say, hey, this is it, we're doing Secrets Playa Blanca? Or was it just like, hey, we really like Acapulco, we really like Playa Blanca, I'm going to go with whatever one's cheaper?
I think it was because it was just a newer resort. I think some of the things were less outdated. There was more elevated amenities, and the decor itself was just so beautiful at Secrets Playa Blanca that I really liked the vibe of it. And then similar, I saw like a beautiful video of someone having their ceremony where we did in the courtyard plaza, and it just like looked like my dream. So I was like, I want this place.
Once you started working with the on-site coordinators at the resort, how was the planning process with the planning teams at the resort?
It was good at first, and I would just advise every bride, they do this every weekend, every week, multiple times a day. Up until the 2 months before, they're not necessarily going to be as upfront with the communication, and that might be scary. Fiancés, support her through that process of the lack of communication up to that 2 month point. What we also chose to do, and working to help support her vision, we did a pre-wedding visit, and I would absolutely recommend doing that. You get to go meet with them on site, walk to the different areas that you're potentially considering having the wedding for.
It was definitely hard for me specifically because I'm more of a type A individual, so not hearing back for weeks on end and after sending multiple emails like, hi, I'm following up again, was very challenging because, you know, you want to get answers to certain things so you can move forward within your own planning process. But I will admit, like, it does come together so beautifully, and our coordinator, Jennifer, did a really, really great job with just listening to our vision.
And did you get me involved in any times where you were not getting a response from the resort? Did you get me involved in escalations?
Yes, I did. I remember reaching out to you, being frustrated that I wasn't hearing anything, and you'd be like, I'll try to reach out to higher ups, and then within like 20 minutes they'd actually respond to me. I'm like, what? Okay. So yeah, you actually helped me a lot with getting them to respond.
And it's always a challenge because I think some of our brides feel guilty about doing that. So I tell everybody at the beginning, don't feel guilty. Like, that is why we're here. We want to make this a smooth, easy process for you. And, you know, we know the planners, we know the weddings managers, we know them personally. So we have that relationship. If you can give one piece of honest feedback to the resort, something couples should know going in.
I honestly think of the communication. Really only the downfall of the entire wedding process for me. Everything else was impeccable. Like, when we did the pre-wedding visit, they were able to give us a special rate, so we didn't even have to pay as much as like the standard rate too. And the staff workers there, when we were physically there, were just incredible. So nothing to note for those things. It was more so just the communication with the wedding team. But I also have to remind myself too that there is that cultural difference.
Yeah.
Where in America we're go, 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 respond quick, everything, very high expectations, and it's just different in Mexico. So you have to give yourself that kind of space to acknowledge that there is a big cultural difference too.
It is different, but that doesn't mean that we should settle. That's why I'm always like, involve me, let me know what's going on so that I can push for quicker responses and get taken care of. Was there a moment during the wedding day where you were able to just take it all in and be like, holy crap, we did this? And like, you're so lost in the day sometimes. Did you have time for that at all?
I think that moment for me was specifically after we finished our first dance and we sat down at our little sweetheart table, and the expectation of like, okay, we can't mess this up, we gotta execute this beautifully, and then the whole ceremony was already over by that point too. So that was kind of the first like, I can breathe. And I remember looking around and I like started crying because I was so happy with how it turned out.
And what did your guests say? Were there any that were nervous or skeptical about traveling, about, coming to a destination wedding? And, you touched on what they said earlier, but, from the actual production of the wedding and all, what did your guests say about the whole experience?
Everyone loved it. Everyone thought it was beautiful, perfectly executed. A few people prior leading up, obviously there was that situation in Mexico like a month before. Some people were like getting cold feet, like, we sure it's safe down there? And it's like, okay, relax. That's gotten taken care of. Like, that was a month and a half before. The beautiful flat decor execution from the pre-welcome reception we did Thursday to then our excursion day on Friday to then just sitting there, going to the rooftop and seeing all the setup that was planned and just how well it was executed. Everyone loved it, and I didn't hear a single complaint.
Working with us, with BAI, did you feel like we supported you in every way we could have? Did you feel on your own at all?
No, you definitely helped answer a lot of questions when I was pretty lost for certain things, and again, your responsiveness was very helpful to my type A brain.
If a bride was sitting on the fence about using a travel agency in general, any travel agency, not just BAI, but versus just doing it themselves, what would you tell them?
Offload that to a travel agency. Don't do it yourself. You're already going through doing so much yourself, trying to plan, trying to coordinate. Whether you have your own wedding coordinator, take that part out of it. Leverage a travel agency. They know this. They do this. They can get you the best rates for your group and also help support you along the way so that you can offload some of those responsibilities while you need to focus on all the other things that come with wedding planning.
I remember our meeting. Did you expect me to be like, and the fee is X amount of dollars?
Yeah, I was really expecting you to tell us some sort of fee, and when I found out there wasn't a fee, I was like, how can I say no?
Well, that's the beauty of it, and people don't understand how we work, but the hotels pay us, not the couples, not the guests. So you got the ceremony was in
The Courtyard Plaza.
where was the reception?
On the rooftop.
Where was cocktail hour in between?
In the back part of the courtyard. Thursday, when everyone came together, we decided to do an add-on of like welcome cocktail hour as well, and we did that in the jungle pool.
Yep.
So we didn't want to kind of move everyone to the jungle pool, so we chose to just do it in the back of the courtyard. It was really nice to just flow from the reception. We can get our photos, but we can still see everyone because they're not in a different location. And then join them, and then walking over to the rooftop. That was a good flow. Even the grandmas were able to get up there, so it was okay.
It's not that far of a walk from the ceremonial location as well. A lot of times you fall in love with locations, but you got to consider the logistics of moving people from one location to the other. How many guests total do you guys have?
95.
Can you tell us what your overall budget and spend was for a destination wedding of 95 people in Mexico?
Yeah, it was 60. With the resort, we ended up paying 50, and then the separate for the videography and photography was the additional 10. She ended up choosing kind of like the outsourced photography that she really liked, just their style and everything. There were different options at different price ranges, but overall, that was where we were at. That included the flowers, the decor, the additional cocktail hour. So overall, having the resort package, and it really comes to how you're going to break it down. Like at first, when we were working with them from Florals, they came back with an outrageous price. And one of the things that I would say to any bride is tell them your range, tell them your budget, and they will fit into it. Mm-hmm. What we did not is she sent a Pinterest board, and then they came back and were like, here's what that's going to be. I mean, it was like, no. Like, that's not happening. When in reality, the only piece of advice I would give is tell them your range, give them that Pinterest board with your style, and they'll fold it, and then there'll be some trade-offs in between. It was beautiful. The packages that they have just through the resort for the DJ, the lighting, the sound, the setup, all the different options was awesome. I mean, we ended up kind of customizing things a little bit from instead of having a light up dance floor, we chose classic white vinyl with a monogram of our S&S initials, and people loved it. I mean, when they walked up, they were like, this is one of the most amazing weddings we've ever been to.
It sounds like it was absolutely stunning. And then, did you guys do a first look?
Yes, we did a first look, private first look, private vows. Would highly recommend doing that from just the groom's standpoint, because you definitely don't want to break down at the ceremony.
Why not?
I did both. You need that moment together beforehand, and you can always do your public vows differently, but to have that special moment and then to have it recorded, personally, like, just experience that time for you two during that day to come together, ease each other's anxiety, worries, de-stress, and then once you see each other, it's like, this is going to be the best day ever.
I'm diving on that first look. Was the first look idea yours, or was it your photographer and videographer's?
It was ours. I didn't want my makeup to get ruined, so I wanted to be able to have some time for that, and then also we just wanted it to be private. Like, we wanted our vows to be between us only. It was really an intimate moment between us.
We've just got a couple other questions. So, number one, knowing everything you know now, would you do it again, the destination wedding, the resort?
1,000%.
What's the one thing you wish somebody had told you at the very beginning of this process?
To accept that not everything will go the way you want or plan, but that it will all come together the way it's meant to be.
And then for a bride who's just started and is feeling totally lost, what is your message to her at this point?
Lean on your friends and family for support if you're able to. Trust that everything will happen the way that you want it to. Research everything. Look at reviews on TikTok, Instagram, all of the social media platforms, because those are also more honest reviews rather than like incentivized things. And use Be All Inclusive because they help you.
Always definitely support your bride through this process. It's going to be ups and downs, and you're going to get asked a lot of questions that she'll honestly answer, and it might not be what she wants to hear or what her
Just agree with her.
aesthetic means. Don't take offense to that, and just make sure you're there to provide input, but also help support her through the process. You can bring little decor pieces, a better cost efficiency as well, but little things that can be moved throughout the experience. We made these little block,
Yeah, I was going to say, what are they?
like little block photos that we had a couple of these that we brought that just rotated around cocktail hour, then got put on each table. And then we brought Polaroids to essentially have everyone capture a moment of themselves, leave it for us to put in our wedding book. We had little cocktail napkins made for our dog that we brought throughout different times. So there's ways where you can make it cost effective by just bringing some of that stuff, having family bring a couple things in their bag. That also just makes it more personalized for you.
Also, another suggestion too for brides and everything, if you are doing a wedding destination, like we ended up printing all of our programs and all of our stationery items and just bringing it with us because they can do it, but of course it's that extra fees and we were able to find it cheaper. And then I put them in massive Ziploc bags and wrote for which event they were all for. So it didn't get lost when I gave like all of the things to her. And so if there was like picture frames and what items were supposed to be at each event. So like for the welcome reception, we had the Polaroids, the welcome cocktail sign, and then the blocked cubes. And then the next day for the next event, we had the similar things plus some, and then the stationery. So it was, I think that was like a helpful way for them to keep track of everything.
Little prep beforehand can make things run so much smoother on day of, and especially when it's those personal items that, you know, your planner doesn't necessarily know where or how you want them or when you want them.
Overall, I would say there's ways that you can make it work. Obviously, we had a pretty large group, pretty larger budget, but there's always ways to get creative and find ways to do your own thing for your price point.
Normally, setup fees depend on how much you're bringing, like how much stuff, and so that's why they usually don't quote them until you're there, because quite frankly, some couples will show up with 7 suitcases full of stuff to set up. And then some of it requires assembly. That's why I can't stress enough how I loved your idea, Sarah, of literally doing that little prep work beforehand and labeling those bags and saying, this is what, like, the more you can prep and make it easy for the staff there, the much more likely you're not going to get a charge or setup fee because it's simple for them. And so that sounds like it was the case in your case. Did you guys meet your guests in the lobby when they arrived?
No.
No. So we actually, because we had such a big group, we did a private check-in. So after everyone got in, they got their glass of champagne, they were golf carted outside the courthouse plaza to a private check-in that had food, had champagne and drinks, and everyone was like, whoa. And that wasn't, because our group was so big, it was all included, in the package. We didn't have to pay a separate fee because they were like, we can't have 90 people showing up and blocking the main resort. And that was a nice experience because people were like, oh, we just had the drive, our bags were like an hour, but now we just got food, checked in privately, and got our rooms immediately. So that was a nice thing for everyone to show up to.
When guests arrive at the resort is probably the most stressful time for them. I want to tell my couples, hey, y'all just go to the pool and relax. Let the guests come in. Let them start experiencing the resort and let that stress come off of them. Because sometimes if you want to meet them at the lobby, then it's like they walk in and they're just ready to go. Let them take a breath, get in their room, relax, and just recollect themselves. Everybody's stressed when they're landing in a country they don't speak the language. They just got off the flight. Flying's always stressful. They're waiting on bags, getting through customs and immigration. It's stress. And then once you get there and you relax, you take a step back, and it's a different experience.
There was a way to communicate to everyone. So one of the things we did was
textmywedding.com.
And basically throughout the weekend, hey, we're going to be here. Hey, here's a reminder, this event starts at this time. Hey, before you leave, we're going to be at this pool if you want to stop by and say goodbye. Like, that allows everyone, with what you just said, hey, check in, do your thing, grab a margarita, and come meet us at this pool if you have time. So it was really nice to do our thing, let people know where they are, but also letting your guests do their own thing. The resort's massive. Let them have fun. Have a night where it's not scheduled and they can try out the restaurants for the resort they paid so much money for. And that's where a lot of people very much enjoyed, like, our cocktail drink hour for the welcome kind of thing. It was then, hey, everyone's going to split up. We're going to meet at the nightclub later. Go enjoy your dinners. Meet people that you met. Go to dinner with people you haven't seen in a while, different friends. And that was really nice because then rehearsal dinner, wedding dinner, people are gone and they really haven't enjoyed the full breadth of the resort. One of the things, too, that was awesome is half of our group, I would say 25 rooms, ended up doing the sign up to go back to another Secrets resort. And we didn't know anyone was going to do that. And then we found out, like, my parents did it. All of her mom and dad's friends did it. And they were like, yeah, we want to come back to this one or go to another one because we had such a good experience. And people were thinking, I'm going to celebrate my birthday here. I'm going to go celebrate this anniversary here, my retirement party. So that just showed how great the service was, how great the experience was for them outside the wedding, that they want to come back for their own vacations.
In my opinion, I think Playa Blanca sets the bar pretty high of the Secrets resorts. I think service level wise, it's absolutely fantastic. All right, well, thank you guys so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate you guys putting your trust in us as well with everything.
Sunny down in Mexico, the sun gets high.